welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
And today we're talking about a bunch of stuff, as usual.
As usual.
Meg, we have had a whirlwind week, and it's only just starting. We're getting ourselves up into a panic attack mode here because there's so much coming up with our book release, The Science of Witchcraft, coming out next Tuesday, friends.
I know. So, here's the thing, now that we're in the horror biz, this fall season becomes a lot of events, and they're so fun, but there's a lot of planning and preparation that go into it. So it gets to be a lot.
Yes.
And it's we want to kind of mix that love of fall with all these events and all these things we're doing. So it can be a little overwhelming, but we're doing okay.
Yes, and we're so thankful for it.
Yes.
So it's we always look at each other. We're like, be careful what you wish for, because
Yeah,
it's
seriously.
this is exactly what we want to be doing.
Exactly. And then we get all anxious, but
it's all fine.
We're
it's all fine.
good, and we're so excited to see everyone. We're going all over the place this fall, and I for one am very excited. Well, obviously to see Salem in October, but also just to see Boston and Los Angeles. I love kind of traveling and seeing how people do Halloween. You get to kind of just see how they do it, and I like that.
Yes, and speaking of seeing people, it was so great. We had our event at the aquarium last week, a week ago today, and people came out, and we loved to see their faces. And Horror Rewind fans that we hadn't met before, who had our books previously. We met some new fans, including a science teacher who's planning to use one of our books in his classroom this fall. So
yeah, that was cool.
Thank you to everybody who came out. It's so fun to see people and interact and just be out in the world. And this fall weather, what better time to do it?
I know, right? And I loved interacting with the kids, because that's something we don't really get to do that much, because, our books are about scary things, but we kind of geared this toward kids, and that was really fun, because that's not something we normally get to really do. And I love, getting the next generation of horror fans going. As Stephen King said, get them young and I'll have them forever.
Yes.
So we're just trying to get them into horror as soon as we can.
I know. We even got people coming over to look at a blobfish, which might be scary, but they thought it was cute. Yeah. I think it's cute.
Yeah, our little blobfish is very cute.
So we had a great time. Also, we were able to do a double feature with our friend Nate. Now, I've got to look up the exact name of this movie, because it's so specific, and we hadn't seen it before. But he was saying it's sort of like the Japanese Evil Dead, and it did not disappoint. It's called Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell. Yes, you heard that correctly. Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell. That had to be one of the most fun movies I've ever seen in my life.
So starting out, first of all, the name, it's okay, this is gonna be interesting. And, it started out, and I'm like, I don't know. And then it just went off the frickin' rails. And
oh my God, the
gore.
Loved
it. I am the gore whore, and I absolutely loved it. Now, it's very low budget. It's very schlocky.
Also, I guess they filmed it over a period of time, and they couldn't get insert shots, so they just have an artist do renderings, but it works because of what the tone is.
Yeah.
It's so freaking fun.
It is very inspired by Evil Dead, obviously, and I mean, they were ambitious, and they went for it, and there's a freaking head on a hand walking around, and there's just so many crazy things going. It's only an hour long, and you can watch it on Tubi. If you want to have a good time with your friends or by yourself, do it.
We were laughing so hard. We were clapping.
Oh my God, yeah, it was what a great time.
I loved it.
Yes.
Now, the second movie that we watched, we classed it up a bit. We watched in 3D, which, Meg, have you ever watched a 3D movie at home before?
No.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it was really cool, because those glasses, I mean, they were great, and it really worked.
Yes.
I didn't know what to expect.
We watched House of Wax, the Vincent Price classic. And I have not rewatched that movie in decades.
Yeah, me neither. So it was fun because I didn't remember everything. Vincent Price.
Ugh.
What a man.
Yes.
I mean, I've loved him my whole life.
Me too.
And
he's always comforted me, even though he's been in creepy stuff. I'm always just like, aw.
Me too. Like people ask, like, what are your comfort films? And I think anything with Vincent Price in it for me.
His voice.
Yes, exactly. Maybe it's from Thriller.
I know.
Too. Like, just having that voice. But yeah, I really enjoyed watching it in 3D. It surprisingly gives you so much more depth, and like you're appreciating like the scenery more and the costumes more and everything. So that was really fun. I loved it.
And I just love how much thought and care goes into a 3D movie. And especially at that time with the technology being fairly new, I assume. It's just like so much fun. It's like the guy with the paddle ball thing, like messing with the audience. It's hilarious.
Yeah, they definitely, lean into it being 3D, which I'm sure that was really fun in 1953 to go and see and be like, technology.
Yes. I wonder if 3D is going to have a comeback again in the theaters, because it seems to like get ebbs and flows.
I know, right? I mean, I think it's fun. I like 3D movies in the theater. I mean, the superhero movies and stuff. Why not?
Now, the other movie that we watched, we talked about it briefly last week. I just recommended it, no spoilers, but now we're going to get into spoilers, is Orphan First Kill. And I said it's a lot of fun. Meg, did you think it was fun?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The filmmaking process of it I find so fascinating. We were talking about how people are on stilts to be around her, and it's so cool that they did all these accommodations so this actress could play, the same character, Esther. I mean, I guess her name's not Esther, but that's how we know
Lena,
her.
yeah.
Lena. And I thought it was really cool. I thought the twist, I was not expecting the twist with Julia Stiles being like, a villain. I thought that was, I don't know, it really made it, because they
otherwise you're repeating the same.
It felt like kind of like, okay, this is the same kind of thing, which was, I actually wasn't hating either, because I mean, a good premise is a good premise.
Yeah.
But then when it took that sort of sharp left turn, I was really, really pleased, because then we got to kind of like do that whole Dexter Morgan thing where you're like, oh, maybe I do want you to kill these people. And your empathy starts kind of moving around.
I love it, because the first movie, you don't know that she is an adult until the end, so you're sort of feeling for her, because it's like, well, maybe she's just troubled and she's had this tough life. And obviously we know she's gaslighting Vera Farmiga in that first movie. But then when we rewatched it the other day, it's like, oh, wow, she's the worst. And you're rooting for the family. But now this one, it's like, you're actually rooting for Esther.
Yeah. I mean, because, well, like I said, it made me think of the conspiracy theory of JonBenet Ramsey, because it's that kind of story of like the son. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying this is a conspiracy theory that the son killed the younger daughter, and then the parents covered it up. And, what kind of monsters would do this and like make it so that this Esther is missing? And then what was going through their minds when they're like, we found Esther.
Oh, God.
And then the dad's the only one who doesn't know. And he's
so
just
good.
like, I mean, and Julia Stiles, like, her sort of, like, motivation was very fascinating to me, where it's just like, I want my husband to be happy, so I'm going to live with this crazy person in my house. And, I mean, what a great climactic ending, too.
Oh, and, like, her lines are chilling when she's like, it can't be too soon. And then she's, like, finally, she's like, we just have to do it now. It's like, oh, my God.
I know, yeah.
As you were saying, a good premise is a good premise, and what can be creepier? We wrote about it in The Science of Women in Horror, than a creepy kid, first of all, but also that premise of that it's actually an adult psychopath. If I looked on the Ring camera and there was like a little kid going, I don't know where my mommy is, of course I would help her.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's scary.
That's really scary. It's like,
don't send your creepy kids to my house, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's, you can't trust your own, judgment, you can't trust
instincts,
your own instincts. But you know, there are some like crazy kids out there that aren't adults.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess if anybody's on your Ring camera, just be careful.
I'm just not going to answer the door anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, that it's very terrifying. And of course, you know, I love how she kind of styles herself to look even more like she's got her little pigtails, and of course she has to wear a choker to cover up her scars. But yeah, she's just like the classic like little innocent girl, and we talk about it in Science of Women in Horror. It's kind of like this idea that we have in society that there's nothing more innocent than a little girl, you know, and we even compare that to a little boy who, you know, might show up on your doorstep with like, you know, more nefarious intentions. That's how we feel. But in the end, little girls can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Whether they're adults or not, right?
I loved it. I thought I had a good time. I love how they wove in all of the things from the first movie very cleverly and showed how all of these things, because this is the prequel, how this affected her going forward and how she messed with the next family. So
yeah, I'm definitely gonna do. I know you watched Orphan. I'm gonna do a rewatch of Orphan, because I now that I've seen the prequel, it'll be kind of more fun.
Absolutely.
And I mean Vera Farmiga.
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah, I love her.
The other movie we watched. Look, we've just been watching movies, guys.
And then we're like, we're so busy.
Yeah. Hey, we need some downtime too. Okay. I forced Meg, but I think she enjoyed it. We watched Elvis.
Yeah. So we're huge Baz Luhrmann fans because Moulin Rouge is like one of our favorite movies of all time, and I absolutely loved it. We're also huge Elvis fans. I know that maybe. Like, well, here's the thing. I feel like, okay, like old people like Elvis, but like I hope maybe this makes some younger people be like, ooh, actually, I really like Elvis.
What a haunting, sad, touching story. Like, I feel so bad. I did not know all of this Colonel Tom Parker business.
No.
Like, I guess I caught wind of it because I know of the name and I knew that, you know, people were saying he wasn't the best manager or whatever. But to know at least the truth of how it was displayed in this movie, like, what a jerk store.
Yeah, like I had no idea. I didn't know anything about that. So it was fascinating, and I think it was a really good sort of anchor to the biopic because, you know, it's from the perspective of this Colonel Tom Parker, which I thought was really interesting. And it kind of just showed like, oh my god,
well, creative freedom, and then financial stability, and like being taken advantage of when you don't know this poor family.
Yeah, the whole family, and it just, I don't know, it was fascinating to see like how Elvis was constantly trying to speak up and be a rebel, and I think that he was ahead of his time, and how he was within his own framework of people was being squashed.
Oh, and his soul was crushed by the end, and it's so sad because I know a lot of people will judge or prejudge about people who die with drug-related things, but when you really put it in the context of what he was forced to do and forced to be, he lost all hope, and there was no way out for him. Not that it excuses it, but it explains it. And so this poor man, what a tortured soul.
Yeah. So it was really good. I was really impressed with the film, and I thought like it focused on the right things, and I thought the performances were absolutely like
so
insanely
great.
Good.
All the singers that they got to portray the singers, like they were spot on.
Yeah.
And Austin Butler, like he's got to get all the nominations.
I hope so. That's what I was thinking. Because excellent, and hot, super hot, just like the real Elvis. So.
Now it's funny because at the very end, they show footage of the real Elvis, and we already knew what Elvis looked like, but he was even better looking than Austin Butler, and that's like saying a lot because like who could be better than Austin Butler in this moment? But Elvis, holy,
he was a rare breed. But anyway, Elvis forever. That's what I say. Yeah, so good.
I love him. Well, friends, we always want to know what you recommend to us because time, as we have stated, is about to become limited, so we don't want to waste our time looking around at things that, or watching things that aren't worth our time. So what do you recommend to us? What is coming up? Did anybody see The Invitation? Tell us. Was it good? Is it worth going to see in the theater? These are the things we need to know.
Yeah, please tell us.
I know something I'm looking forward to. It's also not horror related, but Cobra Kai is coming out 3 days after our book comes out. So I know what I'll be doing that weekend.
Well, I'm very excited for that too. But I screwed up because so I've been buying way too many books lately. So I said to Luke, I'm going to go on a book buying ban in September. I'm not going to buy any books in September.
But Stephen King.
I know. And I said, what are you going to not buy in September? Let's do a thing. So he said, yeah, I'm not going to buy brewing supplies for brewing beer. So we shook on it, and then I remembered Stephen King's book is coming out. But you know what? I can wait till October to buy it.
Well, yeah, you're not going to have time to read it anyway.
No, but I was like, oh, shit. But, oh, well. It's okay.
That's funny.
I can wait a month to buy it. So, by the way, I'm on a book buying ban in September. So, if you see me...
Oh, Meg, you're going to be in a disguise.
I know. Well, and we're going to be doing that book signing at Ficker's bookstore.
Oh, no,
so
Meg.
that's the other thing. I was like, oh, no.
Well, you can buy merch.
I know. I was like, I'm probably going to buy merch there.
There's a way around it.
Yeah, there's always a way around. So,
speaking of, our next in-person event is, as Meg mentioned, September 17th at 2 p.m. at the bookstore at Ficker's in Duluth, Minnesota. So stop by, pick up your copy of The Science of Witchcraft or any of our other books that will be available there.
It's also just a rockin' bookstore.
Oh my gosh. And they, like I said, they have the best merch. A lot of times I just go in there and spend $100 on just fun book related stuff.
They have good puzzies too, good puzzles. So maybe I'll buy a puzzle since I can't buy books.
Meg, you're just replacing one with the other.
I know, it's not really, I'm supposed to be saving money and being good, but oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Update on, are you up to date on The Resort? The show The Resort? Probably not this week.
I'm one behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm also now one behind. But we've been watching that. We will save our thoughts till the end because,
Yep. It's wacky and there's it's going a lot of different ways, and we'll see.
But Meg did finish the series finale of Better Call Saul, and what an epic show.
Yeah, that was so good. Luke and I were because literally, we don't really rewatch things because there's so much new content. I was like, Luke, when we're retired someday, let's rewatch Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So.
Oh, I love it so much. And also there's a train going by, friends. Look at that. Look at that on the audio, Meg. You can see it.
That's really cool. But anyway, yeah. So someday when we're retired, we're going to rewatch that. And it's going to resonate even more then.
Yeah. Yeah, two of the best shows.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite shows of all time. So good.
Seriously.
And Vince Gilligan.
I mean, he gave us so much goodness in the X-Files, and then he did, those two shows.
Yeah.
I feel like he should just, give up now and retire, because how can he
top himself?
Yeah. But apparently he's working on something, so I'm excited to see what it is. I don't care what it is. I'm going to watch it.
Of course. And I know Evil got renewed for another season.
I'm behind on that.
So I freaking love that show.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah, speaking of that gives me sort of X-File-y vibes.
Yeah, it does. It does. Oh, X-Files.
There's so much to look forward to. Oh, and we both finished The Rehearsal now.
Yes.
And it went next level again, and it's nuts.
It's nuts.
And I love it.
Yeah, it's I love the Truman Show aspect of it. It's so good.
And I realize that maybe some of those kids are going to be in therapy, so I apologize.
But it's for our entertainment, so it's worth it. Just kidding. Wait, you know what, though? I mean, probably most kids on shows have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
And now we're just, in the rehearsal, we're actually seeing, we're seeing the reality of it. But I bet you that's not the first kid to get confused about who his dad is.
Oh, yeah.
Think all the sitcoms.
Well, and I realize the Olsen twins are fine, but they grew up on that set with those people more than their own families, probably. I mean, I realize their families were on set too, but...
Yeah. So, I mean, we're just seeing the reality behind the scenes, but it's probably, I mean, a lot of those kid actors get pretty fucked up.
Oof. Well, on that note, we hope that if your children are in the biz, that you're taking care of their mental health.
Oh, boy.
But,
you know what? They're rich.
Yeah, they have all the money in the world. It'll be fine. So, listen, come out and see us in our in-person events. Oh, my gosh, we haven't even announced this yet.
What?
But no, we're not announcing it now because I think we need to, hold back until we have a link. But there might be some merch coming.
Oh, there might be some merch
coming. Let's just say there is. But we're not announcing yet. But it is a big deal, and we were so excited.
It's a really big deal.
We're partnering with an actual fashion designer.
Yeah, that's real. You just heard that here, folks.
Yeah, we're going to announce it, and we're so excited. We're going to provide links. We're going to have some merch available in person, but otherwise you can get it online if you can't see us in person, and it's glorious.
I'm going to be wearing it from head to toe.
Yeah, no, we're never going to dress as anything else.
No, I'm very excited.
So stay tuned for some more exciting announcements. Until next time, we'll see you in the horror section.
Bye.